Om Gyanatiram Tasya Gyanandam Shalakam Chakshiyom Nimaramina Tasya Shivakiritaha. O Kesha, Lord, Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, you have assumed the form of a fish. All glory is to you. You ease the activities of boat in the form of a giant fish, just to give protection to the believers, who shall become immersed in the turbulent sea of devastation.
O Krishna, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of the torturous, all glories to you. In this incarnation as a divine torturous, the great Mandana mountain rests upon a gigantic back as a pilot for churning the ocean of milk. From holding up the huge mountain, a large star-like impression is put in your back, which has become most glorious.
O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who has assumed the form of a boar, all glory to you. The earth, which had become immersed in the Gabagata ocean at the bottom of the universe, sits fixed upon the tip of the cup that is spot upon the moon.
O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of half man, half lion, all glories to you, because a Swami can easily crush a wasp between one's fingernails, so in the same way the body of the wasp-like demon in the Kashikuka you can rip apart by the wonderful pointed nails and your beautiful lotus hands.
O Krishna, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of the Lord Brahman, all glories to you, O wonderful Lord. By your massive steps, with seed in body, and by the boundless water that has emanated from the nails of the lotus tree, you deliver all living beings in this world.
O Krishna, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who has assumed the form of Puripati Parshavan, all glories to you. As you shake out the bed, the air, and the roots of lap, and the body of the demonic Shadira that you have slain. The sins of the world are washed away by you, and because of you, people are relieved from the blazing fire of the fury. In heaven? No? Not here?
O Keshava, O Lord of the universe. Sister Denise.
Yes, number 7.
O Lord Hari, who have assumed the title of Ramachandra, all glories to you. In the battle of Lanka, you destroyed the 10-headed demon Ravana and distributed his heads as a delightful offering to the presiding deities for the 10 directions headed by Indra. This action was long desired by all of them who were much harassed by this monster.
Well, actually, many of the names are going to be for 1,000 years and other monsters. Maybe it's alright, read it. You want to read it?
O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who has assumed the form of Balarama, you have assumed the form of Balarama, the leader of the cloud, all glories to you. When you brilliant white body, you wear garments of the color of a fresh blue rainbow. These garments are colored like a beautiful dark blue of the river Yamuna, who feels great fear due to the striking of your caution.
O Krishna, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of Buddha, all glories to you, O Buddha, of compassionate heart, with the crime of slaughtering of poor animals performed according to the rules of daily sacrifice.
O Krishna, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of Bhakti, all glories to you. You appear like a comet and carry a terrifying sword for reading about the annihilation of the wicked barbarian man
And then the Kali-yuga. Lord Kesava, Lord of the universe, Lord Hari, who has assumed his 10 different forms of incarnation, who bows to you. Lord, read us, please hear the syllable of Jayadeva, which is most excellent and water of happiness. Oh, I didn't see it. Oh, I left it out. Shri Jayadeva, Pradaya, Dharam, Shri Sukadam, Shri Dam, Mahasam, Isa, Bhikti, Dasa, Bhikti, Jayadeva, which is most excellent and the water of happiness of the soul of auspiciousness and is the best thing in this life. O Lord Krishna, I offer my obeisances unto you, who appear in the form of the 10 incarnations in the form of Matsya, the rest of the Vedas, and the Skurma, you bear the Nanda and Ardha on your back. As for Raha, you lift the earth with your tusk, and in the form of Narasimha, you tear open the chest of the Daita Hiranyakashipu. In the form of Ravana, you trip the Daita king, Bali by asking him to own 3 such men, and then you take over the universe from whom you stand your steps. As Parashuram, you slay all the wicked Kshatriyas, and as Ramachandra, you conquer the Rakshas of Ravana. In the form of Balarama, you carry a power of virtues, subdue the wicked, and draw toward you the movement. As Lord of Buddha, you show compassion to all the beings suffering in this world, and at the end of Kali you appears Kalki to the ruler in lectures to baby the old class men. In the songbook here is pretty much the same thing on the floor. Dev Balaram Purnima. Amar. In the temple of Lord Nrsimhadev. So Lord Nrsimhadev and Lord Balaram are both well known for getting angry and killing the demons. Lord Balaram is very beautiful. Of course, all the forms of the Lord are very beautiful. Lord Nrsimhadev is also very beautiful. And in fact, his beauty is enhanced. The special beauty of Lord Nrsimhadev is the nice garland he wears, which happens to be the intestines of Hiranyakashipu. So, a lion's beauty is manifest not so much with diamonds and gems, but a lion is famous for being fierce. So, manifestation of his fierceness enhances his beauty. Lord Balaram is non-different from Krishna. There's an anecdote in this regard. At Kumbh Mela in 1970, I think it was, Ardha Kumbh Mela, Tamal Krishna, Prabhu, I believe, he wasn't a sannyasi at that time, approached Srila Prabhupada and said that among the devotees there, Revati, there's a dispute between 2 of our devotees here. So we bring it to Prabhupada, bring it to you, Prabhupada, to sort it out. What's correct? So Revati Nandan says that Balaram is non-different from Krishna. The only difference is that he's color white, otherwise he's the same. And this is stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita, which at that time had been published in the form of teachings of Lord Chaitanya. So Prabhupada said that yes, he's right. But then Tamal Krishna Prabhu said that Yamuna Devi, she says that Balaram is different from Krishna because Krishna has his own gopis, Balaram has his own gopis, and Krishna, he dances with his gopis and Balaram with his gopis, and they don't, Balaram doesn't come near Radha, and in so many ways Balaram is different from Krishna. And Prabhupada said, she's right. So then Tamal Krishna asked Prabhupada, well, which one is actually correct? They can't both be correct. Prabhupada said, you decide. So this is the same and different. Ramadi murtishu kalani amena tishtan nanavatana makaron bhuvaneshu kintu Krishna swayam samavarat paramapumanyo govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Beginning with Rama, Krishna, who is Govinda Adi Purusha, the original form of God, or the original enjoyer, expands himself into many forms, and they appear in this world as various incarnations, but still Krishna is the original. Balaram is among all the forms of the Lord, all the incarnations of Krishna, Keshavadvita, Dashavidharupa, among the 10 forms of the Lord. He is very special because he appears with Krishna. And he's always with Krishna. Right from Krishna's birth, from that time. He's with Krishna in Vrindavan Lila, in Mathura Lila, in Dwarka Lila. Balarama accompanies Krishna as his servant, friend, elder brother who keeps Krishna in line. He is the very emblem of service to Krishna. Although he is Krishna, but he serves Krishna. Beginning with the expansions of Krishna, of the Shvangsha, those who are the Vishnu forms of Krishna, everyone serves Krishna. Ekale Ishwar Krishna Arsamprita Jare Joiche Nache Nachai Tare Toiche Korenetta. Krishna is the one controller and all others are his servants. As he makes them dance, so they dance. So, beginning from the Vishnu forms, all are the devotees, all living beings are devotees and servants, and therefore servants of Krishna. So although the Vishnu forms are the worshipable personality of Godhead, we are worshipping Lord Balaram, particularly today, worshipping Lord Balaram. But they're also servants of the Lord. And Balaram is he's identified with the Guru, or the Guru is identified with Balaram, because Balaram is very powerful. That's the meaning of his name. Very powerful and very attractive. That's the meaning of his name, Balaram. And one may ask, well, how can a Guru give Krishna, who is the most powerful? And he does so by the strength infused by Balaram. And that strength of bhakti means service to Krishna. And Balaram is, as I said, the emblem of that. He serves Krishna in all conceivable ways. In Shantaras, he serves Lord Krishna as his bedding, he becomes the bed, Ananta Shayan. As his shoes, as his clothing, as his Brahmin thread, as the chamara, and in all the paraphernalia, he takes the form, he expands himself as the whole spiritual world, which is meant for enjoyment by Krishna. So Balaram, in this way, in Shantaras, serves Krishna. In Dasyaras, as the elder brother of Krishna, Balaram, he sometimes takes the form of servant to Krishna. Sometimes as he's like just an equal friend, and sometimes he's in the mood of a Vatsalya ras, not the Vatsalya or the protective mood. Vatsalya ras we normally identify with parents, but an elder brother can also have that protective mood towards his younger brother or sister. So Balaram does that. In fact, when Krishna was again and again insisting to take the cows out to pasture, and his little boy, they would take the young calves, they would take for pasturing. But that was only, taking the calves means they'll just be close by. They won't be far away from the village. But if they have to take the cows, well, first of all, for little boys to manage big cows, that's you have to know what you're doing. The cows are much bigger than the boys, little boys. And also taking the cows means taking them out all day, wandering out long distances. So Mother Yashoda she didn't like this idea at all. My little Krishna, with all these demons coming and attacking him all the time, and fortunately Lord Narayan is protecting Krishna, but we don't know, all these demons coming all the time. So she didn't want to, but let him go. But Nanda Maharaj was more flexible, more pliable. So he was agreeing, all right, let Krishna take the cow. Krishna means if Krishna goes, all the cowherd boys will go also. But Mother Yashoda agreed on one condition, only if Balaram goes also, because Balaram is very strong. He can protect Krishna. And he's a bit more grown up, he's a bit more wise than Krishna. So we see that Balaram was given the job of protecting Krishna in the eyes of Mother Yashoda. Of course, Krishna is protecting everyone. We also see that Balaram took the form or the role of a superior in chastising Krishna. When Krishna kidnapped Rukmini, then he ran off with shooting arrows, with Rukmini guiding the chariot, the horses. And Balaram came up from behind to fight with all the kings, keep them at bay, so that Krishna could make his escape. Then after they'd gone some distance, then Rukmini, the eldest brother of Rukmini, came up and was speaking all kinds of crazy words to Krishna, now I'm going to kill you, etc. And Krishna, in response, captured Rukmini, tied him up, and he disfigured Rukmini with his sword, giving him a punk haircut, which in those days wasn't considered very fashionable. It was considered not very good. Little bit sticking out here and then shaved here and then a wild haircut. So Rukmini was aggrieved, and seeing this, Balaram chastised Krishna and said, you shouldn't do that. I mean, even if he's aggressive towards you, he's trying to kill you, but he is, after all, now going to be your brother-in-law. So in this way he pacified Rukmini by chastising Krishna and set the family relationship that, well, Krishna's your husband, but if you have any problems, just let me know. I'm here, Balaram. So Balaram also in Vatsalya Ras and in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, it's accepted that Balaram by Avesh, this mysterious principle of Avesh, he expands his consciousness and potencies into the personality of Ananga Manjari, who is the younger daughter of Radharani. And as Ananga Manjari, he serves Krishna even within the Shringara Rasa or Madhurya Rasa. So in this way, Balaram, he doesn't want to get left out in all the rasas. He's serving in all the humors. Balaram is serving Krishna. Balaram praised in this song as the attractor of the Yamuna Karshan. And it is twice we find in Bhagavatam Leelas of Balaram, in which he's connected with the Yamuna, first time in Vrindavan, when he was dancing with his gopis, and was apparently drunk from drinking Varuni. Varuni is also the name of one of his two wives. The other one is called, anyone? Revati. So he was calling, after some time he called Yamuna, come here, I'm too drunk or too tired or whatever to go to you, so you come to me. That description of his drunkenness is there in Nectar of Devotion also. Balaram with his rolling eyes looks very attractive. So Yamuna didn't want to come. She thought, he's drunk. He might be God, but he's drunk. So she didn't want to go to him. So at that time Balaram became very angry upon her, and with his plowshare, by which he's known as Haladhar, holder of the plow, he threatened, if you don't come to me, I'll make you flow in so many ways that your flow will be lost. He'll make so many canals that the actual river will be lost. So at this time Yamuna became very afraid, and she came before Balaram and praised him, saying, well, I forgot your glories, please forgive me. And then Balaram sported in the Yamuna with his girlfriends. Then another time connected with the Yamuna, when Samba, he's the son of Jambavati, isn't he? He kidnapped Lakshmana, daughter of Duryodhana. So at that time all the Kurus, which included not only Drona but also Bhishma and many others, they ganged up on Samba and kidnapped him, and Balaram, hearing this, became very he wanted to go and make peace with them. He was the right person to do it, because he's also known as Duryodhana Guru. He's the guru of Duryodhana. He taught Duryodhana how to fight with a club. That's how Duryodhana became so expert in fighting with a club. And even though Bhim was very powerful and his favorite weapon was the club, but Duryodhana, he wasn't as powerful as Bhima, but he was more expert because he was personally trained by Balaram. He took the opportunity to approach Balaram when Balaram was in the city of Varanasi. He took training from him. So Duryodhana became very expert. So his expertise put him on the same level as in clan fighting as Bhima, who was more powerful. So naturally there was affection between Balaram and Duryodhana. Balaram being the guru of Duryodhana in club fighting, so there was some affection, which is why Balaram also didn't want to fight at Kurukshetra, even though Kshatriyas, they always Sukhina Kshatriya Partha Labhanti Yudham Yudhisham, that Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that Kshatriyas are always happy when they get the chance to fight. But Balaram, he didn't want to fight at Kurukshetra because he knew that Krishna was siding with Yudhishthira, but personally he was inclined to Duryodhana also. So he thought it wasn't I won't fight now. He more or less retired from fighting at that point, although later on, shortly after, Naimisharanya requested by the sages there, he killed the demon who was spoiling the sacrifices. Anyway, Balaram, he appointed himself as the minister for King Ugrasena to mediate with the Kurus for their having kidnapped someone. Kidnap means they fought with him, and they all appreciated what a great fighter he is. All of us were all famous fighters, but with great difficulty, all of them together, only with great difficulty were they able to capture someone. So they appreciated, actually he's a very good boy and a very good match for this daughter, but as a matter of pride, prestige, Kshatriyas, they don't let anyone just get away with kidnapping their daughter very easily, the daughter from their family. So Balaram came and said that on the command of King Ugrasena, I order you to release this boy. And he said, what? We're the actual kings around here, and we only allow you Yadus to have the royal insignia, just as a matter of family affection, but actually you're not even fit for it. We're the real kings around here. And Balaram became very angry. And he said that, you're all living by the mercy of Lord Krishna. You don't realize Krishna's glory. That even you're blaspheming Krishna, who's our intimate family member here. This Samba is the son of Krishna. So you're trying to minimize Krishna, but you don't know that, or you don't accept that even the great demigods, they bow down to Krishna. So Krishna is allowing you to be the kings of the world. The kings of the world were the Kurus. Now, the Yadus were there also, and Krishna was a subservient, superficially a subservient prince to the Kuru king, who was Duryodhana at that time. But Krishna said that Krishna is allowing you to occupy the royal throne, but what is the use of a throne to him? He doesn't need a throne to establish his greatness. He's axiomatically far superior to all of you, and it's only because of him that you are able to assume this position as a king, as kings. So anyway, they were, and then they said, oh, what are you talking about, We're much greater than all of you. And then Balaram, single-handedly against all the Kurus, he said, okay, enough of all this. Hastinapur, I'm dragging it. Now he dragged it with his plow, was dragging it toward the Yamuna to dunk it, the whole city in the Yamuna. It's like an earthquake. So then they said, oh, sorry, we forgot, you're God. And they brought Samba and Lakshmana and said, all right, we agree to your proposal. And Prabhupada commented that actually this is just, they knew Balaram's greatness, but they just wanted to see his greatness manifested. And this kind of, in Kshatriya weddings, there's always something like this. They just want to, they're a boisterous, belligerent lot, and therefore they like to, a little bit of saber rattling at least, if not actual fighting. In the Kshatriya marriages, there's always some fighting. There has to be some fighting, otherwise what's the use of being a Kshatriya? But actually they were very happy that this Samba was married to Lakshmana. So like this, Balaram is so many leelas. Olympic Games are going on, right? So we have heard. iti shudra. We have heard. We have not seen. We're not watching on TV or anything like that, but we have heard the Olympics are going on. So Krishna and Balaram, they inaugurated the original throwing competition. Not exactly a competition, but in Talavan, all the donkeys headed by Hinyakasura, Krishna and Balaram dispatched of them by the method of picking up their hind legs, whirling round and round, and then throwing them. So that's like the hammer throwing in the Olympics. So it wasn't just some showing what they could do, but they were actually doing something useful by killing these demons who had assumed the forms of donkeys. So like this, Krishna and Balaram perform many pastimes together. What is that? Saharamena Keshava. Kritavan kila karmani. Saharamena Keshava. Atimartyena bhagavan gurha kapatamanusha. Krishna and Balaram performed many activities. Kritavan kila karmani. They perform many activities. Krishna performed many activities with Balaram. It's sometimes called Rama, just Rama. But there always the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Atimartyena, beyond human capacity to understand or emulate. They're always Bhagavan, even if they appear as young boys. But although they appear as just, in many ways, like ordinary human beings, they are the Supreme Lord. Therefore, they're covered over. Their opulence is the Supreme Lord. The characteristics of the Supreme Lord are often covered, and therefore they appear as ordinary human beings. Therefore, they're called kapata manusha, which literally means cheating men. They cheat others, or they mislead others. So, the demons are misled into thinking that Krishna and Balaram are ordinary due to their enviousness toward them, and the devotees are misled into thinking that Krishna and Balaram are like ordinary people in many ways due to their love for him. They don't see the glories of Krishna and Balaram from a philosophic point of view, but they simply love Krishna and Balaram and think of them as our all in all, our friends, the friends of Krishna. They think of Krishna and Balaram as their friends, and the gopis think of them as their lovers. Yashoda and Rohini, the mother of Balaram, think of them as their sons. Here we're on one of Srila Prabhupada's farms. So Prabhupada, he was talking a lot about making farms. He wanted to make farm communities. In 1977, Srila Prabhupada, Tamal Krishna Maharaj spoke to Srila Prabhupada and said that, Prabhupada, you are the farm acharya because you are establishing so many farms. Prabhupada said, no. Krishna and Balaram, they are the farm acharyas. Krishna has his flute for calling, ostensibly for calling the cows. Even today, cowherd boys, they have flutes because they take the cows for grazing. They'll go out all day with them. That's the best way, actually, to keep cows. It's a common system to keep them in barns or to keep them tied up in a field. But the best system is grazing. They like that. They move from place to place all together in a big group. They like to be together. And this way they get some exercise and they mix up with each other, and sometimes they fight a little bit with each other, and sometimes they sit one against the other, sometimes they lick each other. So they have their social life like this. And they also, by moving, they get all different varieties of grass and herbs. So that's healthy for them and makes the best milk also. So, Krishna and Balaram would take out the cows and wandering, Gocharana it's called, wandering with the cows, grazing with the cows. And sometimes the cows, they were, huge herds of cows. We can't imagine so many cows nowadays. Literally hundreds of thousands of cows. And Krishna would know all their names. And he would call them by their names and he would count. And that's why he's called Manidha. You all know this name, Manidha. So it means one who holds a jewel. So Krishna holds a jeweled like counting beads, like we have Japamala, so Krishna counts his cows. How are they coming? He's counting on his beads. So, yes, sometimes with so many cows, sometimes they would wander off here and there. And therefore the cowherd boys, they have a flute for calling the cows back. That's why they have a flute. Although Krishna is more famous for using it for calling the gopis, but it's actually paraphernalia for cowherd boys. A flute and a buffalo horn also, which announces, well, that's when the boys get along, they get distant from each other, also they can find out where they are by sounding the buffalo horn, which is a loud sound. And also when they're out of jubilation, when they're leaving for the forest, they sound that. And when they're coming back, they sound that, so that their mothers can prepare their baths and their meals like this. So these are paraphernalia for the cowherd boys. So Krishna is famous for his flute, and Balaram is famous for his club. We already mentioned that. That's when he leaves Vrindavan and takes on the role of a Kshatriya. But otherwise he's not. Apart from being Gadadhara, the holder of a club, Balaram is also Haladhara, which means he's the holder of a plough. So Prabhupada said that Krishna and Balaram are the farm acharyas, because the Krishi Go Raksha, these are the two business, this is agriculture. Krishi means working the land, for which the plough is used, producing crops, especially grains. And Go Raksha, protecting the cows. So between the plough of Balaram and the flute of Krishna, the two principles, Krishi Go Raksha, producing grains and other produce, and protecting the cows, which gives milk and then ultimately ghee. So these two activities are indicated by the flute and by the plough. Balaram being Haladha, who uses the plough for farming, he's also known as Halayudha, which means he also uses it as a weapon, plough weapon, as we see when he was pulling Hastinapur towards the Yamuna, so in this way he was using the plough as a weapon. So there are many other pastimes of Lord Balaram, killing the Dvivida. Of course there are many which he performs with Krishna directly, like jumping off the Prabharshana mountain, 88 miles high, 11 yojans. When the devotee asked Prabhupada, where is that mountain? Prabhupada said, in the sky. That's identified with the Girna mountain in Gujarat. So that's in Junagadh, if you went on. So they jumped from that hill. Jarasandha set the hill on fire and thought, Now they're dead, but they jumped very nicely from the top of the hill. They enjoyed that. No parachute. They don't need it. They have Bhagavan. They can jump and enjoy it. Flying through the sky. Just flying means falling through the sky. Balaram, so many pastimes. Killing the Dvivida gorilla, then going on pilgrimage. When he was to avoid fighting at Kurukshetra, he went on. He went to visit the holy place. He went to visit Naimisharanya, and he got entangled. Well, he was requested by the sages there to. He killed Ramaharshan Sutta, seeing that this Balaram, he was the original guru who saw that Ramaharshan Sutta was not fit to take the post of guru, and therefore Balaram, by touching him with a piece of kushapras, killed him. So thereafter the sages of Naimisharanya requested Balarama to atone for his sin by going on pilgrimage. So, of course there's no sin for Balarama. He visited so many places of pilgrimage, and it's great fortune for all the places of pilgrimage and for those who up to the present day visit those places, purified by remembrance of Balaram and by touching the dust of a land which has been touched by the feet of Lord Balaram. So Lord Balaram wandered widely. Later on, as Nityananda Prabhu, he also wandered widely all over Bharatavarsha. Lord Balaram, he's seen to be a somewhat eccentric person from the external point of view, and especially so in the form of Lord Nityananda, who is among Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. Although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is unlimitedly merciful, but Nityananda Prabhu is more unlimitedly merciful. So logically that statement doesn't make any sense. How can something be more unlimited than unlimited? But somehow or other it's possible in the personage of Balaram Nityananda. So I'm not going to say very much this morning. I have to speak on Balaram this afternoon also, and then tomorrow also in Sweden, where I'm scheduled to be. They're having a festival for Balaram. They shifted to Sunday because it's more convenient or something like that. Although personally I think we should do the festivals on the day that they fall. It's like, you don't shift Christmas if it comes on a Monday, you don't shift it to Sunday. So anyway, any questions about this? Then we can sing another song in which Balaram is mentioned. Questions, or anyone want to share any pastimes? Good question. It appears to be only 8 days, but it might be more. I tried to work it out once, but it's not very clear actually. From at least in my what I was able to ascertain, it could be more than a year also. Balaram has the mood of an elder brother, but it might be just a few days difference. But we often find in Vedic culture, even if there's just a few days difference, they take it very seriously. You'll find sometimes someone's initiated like 3 days before the other in his whole life. I'm senior. There's also the mystery of the connected with Balaram's appearance, the sons of Devaki, and how Balaram, he's called Sankarshan because he was attracted from the womb of Rohini to that of Yashoda, and Rohini appeared to have a miscarriage. Although he's known as, from Rohini to Devaki. So he's known as the son of Rohini, although he didn't directly appear from her womb. So, yeah, and then there's the sons of Kalanemi, who became the sons of Hiranyakashipu, and then they became the sons of Devaki. So they're all different factors mentioned in different scriptures. So it's quite a complex point. Oh, it's also said that this is commonly said thing. I've never heard it in any shastra, but it's commonly said that Lakshman, when he was serving Lord Ramachandra so faithfully as a younger brother. Although younger brother means they're all practically born at the same time. But Ramachandra was the elder, and he had that mood of being elder, and Lakshman had the mood of being younger. So, but Lakshman was feeling frustrated because I have to do whatever Ram tells me to do, which I don't have any problem with that, but some of the things I have to do, he had to arrange for the fire for testing Sita. He didn't want to do that, but he was ordered to by Lord Ram. Then he had to take Sita away from Ayodhya and tell her that actually you're not going back, you're now in exile. So he thought this is a cursed situation. Ram is so righteous that I have to do these things which are just so painful. So he said, next time I'll come back as the elder brother, and I'll still serve, but I'm not going to serve in such ways like this that I have to do such terrible things. So he came as Balaram, as the elder brother, and he basically took the position of a servant of Krishna in so many ways, but at the same time he sometimes kept Krishna in check, C-H-E-C-K, not in C-Z-E-C-H. Didn't keep him in the Czech Republic, where we just came from. Prabhupada put him in the Czech Republic. Prabhupada put Krishna in the Czech Republic. So, in this way. But then again we see sometimes Krishna is serving Balaram also. So sometimes when Krishna is very tired, he lies down and Balaram and others massage his feet, and sometimes Krishna massages Balaram. So it's a reciprocal relationship. Srila Prabhupada was saying, in a joking way, Srila Prabhupada brought Krishna to Czech, but Prabhupada brought Krishna and Balaram to the whole world in the form of Jagannath, Subhadra, Baladev. Today there's Rath Yatra in Leipzig. So, Srila Prabhupada brought the worship of Balaram to the whole world. Anything? Comments, questions? Varuni. Balaram is drinking Varuni, which is said to be the sap oozing from the tree. So that's identified with honey. Balaram is very fond of honey. So generally on Balaram Purnima, it's an ISKCON tradition, everyone drinks lots of Varuni, which is offered to Lord Balaram, and then they get drunk. So we usually used to take this and then go out on Harinam Sankirtan, because you get so much wild energy that you have to do something with it. So it's a great ISKCON tradition, to drink honey water, or in London the first time we had it, it was mixed with lots of yogurt also. So if we go in Harinam to Yandal's Broom or something like this, or around the farm, liberate all the blades of grass. So, if there's no question, then another song in our songbook, in which Balarama is at least mentioned, is Jai Radhe, Jai Krishna, Jai Vrindavan. There's also Brajendra Nandan Jai, Shachi Shuta Hoilosa, Balarama Hoilo Nitai. We will sing this Jai Radhe, Jai Krishna, Jai Vrindavan, in which Lord Balaram is praised. So please get your songbooks if you don't know the song, and we can sing it.
All glories to Radha and Krishna and the divine forest of Vrindavan. All glories to the three presiding deities of Vrindavan, to Govinda, Gopinath and Madan Mohan.
All glories to Shama Kunda, Radha Kunda, Govardhan Hill and the Yamuna River, Karini. All glories to the great forest known as Mahavana, where Krishna and Balarama displayed all of their childhood pastimes.
All glories to Krishna, the Krishna goes to the Kirtan. All glories to Vasudevaki, where Krishna attracts all of the gopis to come to play his flute. Glories to all of the 12 forests of Raja. At these places, the son of Nanda, Sri Krishna performed all his pastimes.
All glories to Krishna's divine father and mother, Nanda and Yashoda. All glories to the covered forest headed by Sridhara, the older brother of Srimati Radharani and Nanda Manjari. All glories to the cows and calves of Raja.
All glories to Radha and Rama, Krishna Bhanu and the beautiful Krishna. All glories to King and Moses and others on the planet, Ram Mother, Mother Mangala and Mother Nika. And we love the cycle of the Lord Narayan. All glories to the young father, Lady of Buddha.
All glories to Gopishvara Shiva, who resides in Vrindavan in order to protect the holy ground. All glories to Krishna's Panditana friend Adinanda.
All glories to Rama Gatha, when Lord Balaram performed his rasa dance. All glories to Lord Balaram, the son of Mahini. All glories to all of the residents of Vrindavan.
All glories to the wife of Sipal, Vedic Ramana. All glories to the wife of the Kaliya through pure devotion, they all attain the lotus feet of Lord Krishna.
All glories to the place where the rasa dance of Sri Krishna was performed. All glories to Radha and Syama. All glories to the divine rasa dance, which is the most beautiful of all Lord Krishna's pastimes.
All glories to the mother of Krishna, which is the most excellent of all races, and is the greatest in the blood of Lord Krishna, in the form of the divine Priya Radha, Balarama Radha.
Remember in the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda's counsel, Sri Jamadagni, this very form and lowly servant of Krishna sings the Sankirtan of the Holiness.
Jai Balaram, Hare Krishna. So we've been having a little festival here today, is it? Little festival. Are you all staying here? You all living here? Yeah. No, here. Forever. Is it? Well, we're just passing through. We're on our way to Mission. Did I say it correctly? Yes. Okay.
festival and then to show them to know. I think it's the third time. Fine. I think foundations are just going to Russia and going to get the blessing of the Shem. Every comments. And that will be the last one. Now by the grace of Nrsimhadev, come once more. We hope to come again. All glories to your service, keeping the service to Nrsimhadev going on. We'll go and have a look, see what you're doing. There's some work in the fields. It's going on, huh? We're trying. You're trying, yeah, well that's great. See the cow and the oxen.
Yes, that's the most yes, is that we can.
Jai. Okay, Jai. Well, wherever I go, I try to distribute some of my books. Prabhupada told me to write books, so I'm always trying to distribute some of them. So if anyone would like to see them, take them, you're welcome. That glimpses of traditional Indian life is good for the farm. For the farm.
Just to read it, it's nice. I thought maybe we would talk about some other song because I have one question. It's a little bit out of the context about that. It's not this way. It's what is the relationship between Prahlad and Nrsimhadev. Because Balarama, he was always worshipping Govinda.
He was talking about Krishna, yeah.
In the Bhagavatam it says there's this one verse, Balarama, he always laughed when he was laughing.
Krishna Graha Grihitatma. He was described as being taken over by Krishna. And he also says that Natyana Krishne Paratasvatova. He's speaking of Krishna.
He was worshipping Govinda. This verse is that he was crying and he did not see him. And he was always embraced by Govinda. Govinda coming down the path. And the other ones have also this verse, Namo Bhavani Vivaya Govinda, spoken by Prahlad. So, you sing it that Govinda, Prahlad, he worshipped Govinda. So, now the relationship between Govinda and Lord Nrsimhadev.
Well, they're non-different. Nrsimhadev is a very special form of... This is a very deep question. Nrsimhadev is Krishna, but in a form especially for protecting his devotees. And we find Nrsimha in Navadip, bestows Krishna prema. He's not just removed. He protects the devotees and removes he's prayed to by Prahlad Maharaj. We find in the Bhagavatam, he's prayed to, and this comes in the 5th canto, that he's praying to Nrsimhadev to remove the desires for material enjoyment from the heart. So he does that, and without which one cannot actually attain love of Krishna. Or one cannot revive one's love of Krishna. Beyond that, I don't say too much. It's a good question which needs to be looked into more. But definitely we find Prahlad is praying. Prahlad, who's in this universe now, is praying to Lord Nrsimhadev with various prayers, among which that one is famous, Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimha, etc. And Nrsimhadev is praised as Prahladesh,
Prahlada Lada Dai, we sing. He who is the giver of pleasure to Prahlad, which means who is delighted, who is full of pleasure. So, maybe worships them both, like we do. It's not impossible. The worship of Lord Nrsimhadev is not incompatible with that of Govinda. In fact, any of the forms of the Lord, it's not incompatible with the worship of Govinda. One may have one's primary attraction to Govinda, Shyamasundar, Vibhuj, Murlidha, and also worship other forms. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, he observed all the festivals. Ram Vijayotsav, he observed. And he liked to listen to the narrations of Dhruv Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj. So even though Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was clearly focused on Radha Krishna Leela, but he took pleasure in hearing other Leelas, and he celebrated the appearance days of other forms of the Lord. He told Sanatana Goswami to put in the list of activities to perform for Gauriya Vaishnavas to observe festivals such as Ramnavami, Nrsimha Chaturdashi, etc. So it's not outside the scope of Gauriya Vaishnavas. And we find that some devotees, although they are worshipping Radha and Krishna, they do have a special tendency also to worship Nrsimhadev as well. And we also find in ISKCON quite a few devotees who it seems they must have been Sri Vaishnavas in their previous life worshipping Nrsimha, because they're more inclined that way, it seems. So that's my off the top of the head take on that, although it's an interesting and important question which deserves more research. And actually there are hundreds and thousands of questions which deserve more research. So as I'm always talking about it, and it looks like it's eventually going to get started sometime next year, our research center to research so many Shastric topics and write books. So you can put that on the list. Question number 25,300,022. There's so many things. But it's good. It's this kind of question which Prahlad Maharaj asked Shukadev, which brought forth more and more Krishna katha and brought forth more and more remembrance of Krishna and appreciation of Krishna and understanding of Krishna. So these Munaya Sadhu Prishto Ham Bhavampe Loka Mangalam. These are good questions for the benefit of the world. Yeah, you want to say something else?
The bounty that Radha Mohan is here. Now it seems like it's only Radha and Singh.
This started off as the temple of Radha Madan Mohan. It was originally Radha Madan Mohan temple, and then Nrsimha came afterwards.
Yes, that's
and then Radha Madan Mohan, they went elsewhere. So, yeah, they were originally in Shretasha, Radha Madan Mohan. So they're making a slow tour of Germany. Parikrama. Maybe they'll go up to Flensburg next, and then they'll be in all the different points. It was East-West Germany, wasn't it? Schloss?
It was
near
Frankfurt.
That's central then, isn't it? Yeah. All right.
So, you're thinking there's not Radha Krishna not here, but on the other hand, because Prahlad Maharaj he has this relationship with Govinda, so in one sense. Keshava Gita and Keshava Krishna.
Yeah.
Is formed only because of the blessing of Lord Balarama, what we do. But have the theory as neither more nor animal. So Krishna deliberately used because of to respect Lord Brahma's benediction.
Yeah, of course, Nrsimha is an eternal form of the Lord also. He didn't just assume that form. I mean, it says in the Bhagavatam that it was a form never seen before even by Lakshmi. But that we can understand to be Yoga Maya, because Nrsimha is an eternal form of the Lord. He's not a form which was just taken for that pastime only.
Yes. Isn't the Vaikuntha planet present as a form of Vishnu?
Yeah. But the name is there, Nrisimha, lion. So this manifestation is Nrsimha. Of course, it could be researched for complete verification, but it appears that this is an eternal form of the Lord. And another, something else which seems to bear that out is that there are so many temples of Nrsimha. If he was only a nimitic form, and not a nitya form, then presumably there wouldn't be nitya seva of Nrsimha there. In many temples. After Krishna, Ram and four-handed Narayan, by far the most numerous form of the Lord worshipped in India is Nrsimha. And others you hardly see. Vamana, hardly. And Kurma, only one. Varaha, few. Varaha, Vamana, very few. Only practically only in Kanchi. There must be somewhere, but hardly. But in Nrsimha temples there are so many. Especially in Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. Especially in Andhra Pradesh. And then in Vrindavan there is in Navadvip, Mandal, Nrsimhapalli. Nrsimhadev was worshipped by this Pradyumna. What was his name? And then Pradyumna Brahmachari, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu changed his name to Nrsimhananda because of his worship of Nrsimha. So it appears that in Bengal also the worship of Nrsimha was going on. In Puri, ancient Nrsimha temple was there, just behind Gundicha. Prahlad is said to have appeared in Multan, which is presently in Pakistan. So, in the heavenly planets. Yeah. Well, I don't know. That's what Pakistan Sastra tells us. And they also say that he appeared in Ahobila in South India. So, something else to research. What is the meaning of all this? We also have for instance, the Lord Vamana appeared, that Leela is in Gujarat, at Bharuch on the Narmada River. Brigu Kutch is the ancient name mentioned in the Bhagavatam, on the bank of the Narmada River. So you have Bharuch still today on the bank of the Narmada River, and people know that this is the place of Vamana Leela. But that's also in the heavenly planet. So what is it? There's some kind of corresponding place here and there also. Like I say, there's many things need research. You want to do research? Lots of work to do. Lots of work. So this is how we should engage the brains that come to the Krishna conscious movement. So many brains are used for building bridges and waging wars and studying grasshoppers. You can study Shastra, right? Better. So, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Nrsimhadev ki jai. Baladev ki jai. Gurudev Srila Prabhupada ki jai.